Okay, I'm back. I tried streaming earlier today, and I had a lot of the same audio dropout issues that I had a couple of months ago when I last streamed from the Workbench. I've been really focused on the collaborative text adventure playthrough that we're involved in, that we're experimenting with at the moment for the last couple of months, and haven't really done any streaming from the Workbench at all. But I upgraded my PC in order to avoid the audio cutout issues, the disconnection of my the iPhone that I use as a rostrum camera, and I thought it was working okay, and then I tried streaming earlier this afternoon and it was a disaster. It kept cutting out, the audio was terrible. I mean, for all I know, the audio might be terrible right now. It's kind of difficult to monitor from this end, but I have spent most of the last 2 hours tweaking the settings and changing it from doing hardware acceleration on the stream, hardware acceleration on the local recording and software acceleration or software encoding on the stream, which is the way that you're kind of advised to do it because software encoding is better quality, generally speaking, depending on the graphics card you've got. But I changed it so that it was using the GPU to encode the stream and software, the CPU, to encode the local recording, because I record the streams locally, so you have a higher quality MP4 file of the recording of the stream than I do the stream that's on YouTube, in case I want to edit it later on. But anyway, that's what I've done. It seems to be working. Whether it works for the duration of this stream, I don't know. The stream looks like it's doing all right. I'm just turning the TV on here because I thought it would be a good idea to do a new Workbench stream on something that I've been looking at recently. Let me just switch this over. You can't see this yet, but we'll see it in a sec. In fact, it's here. If I hit that, there we go. Except it's not focusing. Anyway, I'll switch this on in a sec. But yeah, so this is one of the first machines that I ever restored. It's an Acorn Electron. It was actually the second Acorn Electron that I did. The first one was the very first thing that I did, and then we enjoyed it so much that I got another one, a second one, and that's this one. And I was writing about this because I've just finally set up a website for Dead Flesh Retro, and I'm slowly kind of adding the stories of all of the machines that I've fixed or modded or whatever, of which there are a lot, and I have a lot of photos and bits of video of stuff that I've done. But I went and got these two Electrons out of the storeroom. They've just been sitting on a shelf I haven't had them out in a couple of years at least, and I just wanted to see if they still work and everything. And you might notice, I've got this card in the back here, which is a Go SDC card, and it's basically a disk emulator. It's an arcane thing. I mean, I don't know anything really about how disks worked on Acorn machines. I never owned an Acorn machine back in the day. I was always a Spectrum kid until the Amiga came along, and a TRS-80 kid before that, with a bit of Apple II thrown in. But yeah, I've sort of figured out how this card works, and I can show you what we can do with it in a sec, if you like. But this machine has another issue, and I want to address that. I want to actually fix something that I know doesn't work on this machine. So that's the idea. But let's switch over to this view here and switch it on and see if it works. Of course, demo effect. There we go. Hopefully you can see that. In fact, the top of the screen is off, isn't it? If I move it like that, hopefully. Is it better? Acorn Electron, ACP 1770 DFS basic. Now the ACP 1770 DFS business, that's being added by this Go SDC card. And if I do asterisk SDC info, we can see information about the SD card and how it's configured and set up. And if I do SDC disk, we can see what disk images are currently loaded into the DFS, there's a DFS and ADFS formats, I guess, different protocols for the disk drives on Electrons and BBCs, and some disk images work with one and some disk images work with the other. Presumably the ADFS is the advanced, or the higher capacity one, and at any one time you can load a different disk ROM into the emulator, and that's what the DFS is when we start this. Oops, actually gone right in, so that DFS up there. So we're emulating the DFS system, as we saw from our disk view. We've got Chucky Egg loaded as our DFS file image, disk image, and so if I hit Shift and break, it will actually load it. It'll just run it straight away. Boom, like that. Let's try and center this a little bit better. Still not completely happy with this. Like on some machines it works fine in terms of this little camera that I'm using showing the screen. Obviously I could use like video capture. I've got a video capture card, but to be honest it just introduces another failure point in everything, and it's difficult to capture RF machines, which I do a lot of stuff with, so I find it easier just to film the screen, to be honest. Anyway, this is Chucky Egg. So, the classic Chucky Egg, one of the greatest games ever made for 8-bit machines. In fact, I remember distinctly the first time that I played Chucky Egg, because it was a BBC game, a famous BBC game really. Before it wasn't really that particularly well known on the Spectrum. Still a great game, but the Spectrum had lots of great games. But I one summer, me and a friend of mine had a BBC and was given the job of creating a database for something by his dad, and we spent the summer building this database application. And when we weren't doing that, we were playing Chucky Egg. That was great. Yeah, this does work. Let's see if I can still play it. I've long forgotten what the right pattern is for these, but I missed it. I do remember though, one of the great joys of Chucky Egg was the kind of the movement anticipation. It was such an advance over Donkey Kong, where you had to run right into the ladders in which to go up and down them. You could pre-press the direction you wanted to go in and jump onto the ladders and jump off the ladders. Radical. Anyway, I should be doing this, right? I should be fixing something. It's just too good though, isn't it? Okay, anyway. I'm not going to go on to level 3. Cool. So the thing that's wrong with this, the thing I know is wrong with this, is the keyboard. So if I just start typing all the other keys work, all the special function keys and everything. But you'll notice if we read through this that we're missing an I. I think that's the only one we're missing, isn't it? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, and the minus. What else have we got? We've got the characters, we've got the cursor movement, got break obviously, delete, escape, font caps lock, there we go, and the control key, which we know works. So yes, the I works most of the time, but not all of the time. Dodgy. Also have a slight issue with the W key as well, but I think like a lot of the time, if you bash it 10, 20 times, it knocks a bit of corrosion off, and it works fine after that. And I think that's the state with the W key. When I first switched it on earlier today, the W key was a little bit stuck, but it's completely reliable now. But the I is not. So how do you fix how do you fix a key on an Acorn Electron? That is what I'm gonna do. So I've done this on several keys, on this one and on the other one. In fact, when I first got this out of storage, the T key was even worse than the I key. It wasn't registering at all, and so I fixed that. And then after I put it all back together again, I realised that the I is okay most of the time, but not all the time. So we're going to fix the I key. And I think I'm going to leave the W. The W seems fine, actually. There's always, it's always a bit of a balance. Like you have to kind of break things to fix them a little bit with these keys, and there's always a risk that you damage it so much that it can't be fixed. So I think it's best to leave the W the way it is. However, let's take all this apart and give ourselves some space to work with, and I can go through the process. This process is not something that I've seen anywhere else or looked up. This is something I figured out myself, kind of at the point where a key is so broken that you can't use it. You have no option than to I'm missing a screwdriver. I must have left a screwdriver downstairs. I wonder if these will work. I'm going to go. Yeah. You face the choice of, do you really try and fix it? Do you take it apart, try and fix it fully? in the absence of any other instructions or method. You have to figure out your own, because you can't just leave it broken. What's the point of leaving something broken? It's completely unusable, not just to you but to anyone else. So try not to just leave it. Let's get these out. So there's four screws that hold the case together, and they're all the same, luckily. So that allows us to pop this out, and anybody who's gone the wrong way, anybody who's opened one of these before will know that the keyboard is on a ribbon connector. There, like that, but you can pop this out. It's fairly delicate. Come on. But not as delicate as like the Spectrum one, for example. There we go. So that's the insides of the Electron. You can see it's all original for anti-ULA. Oh, did someone just... Oh no, I thought someone had sent something into chat. Chat might not work actually. I might just have a quick look on my phone just to see if chat is running. That's all. Yeah. I should be able to see chat on my phone at least, even if it doesn't show on the stream. But yeah, there we go. Nice clean Electron board. It's recapped, but this has the big power cap wasn't, and it doesn't have the color composite link, which is in here somewhere, isn't it? There's a link you can bridge in here somewhere. There, I think is it there? Possibly. Which is just a little mod that you can do to it. Let's put the board out of the way though. Right. So the first thing to do is to take the I key out. So we have a key extractor. Pop the keycap off. Now, as you can see, this key is soldered to the board. So we need to make sure that we desolder the correct one. I'll stick the desoldering iron on. It's that one there, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's that one. So I'm just going to mark it. And let's just get a little bit of flux on it, and then we'll desolder it, and then unclip it from the other side. Oops. Bit of flux. There we go. I mean, I don't really need to use the gun to do this. It's just 2 pins, but I'll need to plug the soldering iron in afterwards anyway to put it back, but it heats up pretty quick anyway. What I need to do is we need to really make sure that that the pins are completely free. otherwise it won't unclip from the other side. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Okay. I can see them moving. They're quite sizable lugs actually. Let's just have a little look. Yeah, that one's moving. That one's moving in there. So on the other side, you'll see that there's these little clips. So this is always a bit tricky actually. So you can kind of hold those together like that, and then, yeah, I might not be able to show you this too well. So I'm going to push from the other side. Need to actually push the pins that I've desoldered from the other side while popping these clips down. I've fallen off it. Come on. Yeah, I go that side of it. Feel it pop out. Come on. There. Oh man, this is frustrating. Push a little bit. Oh, in fact, we can push them through. We should be able to lift this. Actually, let's just pop these ones off as well. Get a bit of space. If you can see, this one is the I key that we want is actually raised off a little bit already. There we go. So it pulls out like that, and now we can put the keyboard to one side. And now we need to get in here. So the trick to getting in here, there's no way of doing it non-destructively, unfortunately, because this white cap here, it has these two arms which are part of what hold the clips that hold the keycap into the keyboard chassis. These two arms, that one and this one, those are the ones that I was pinching together to remove it. But this one at the top is actually glued to the black barrel body of the key, so there's no good way of getting rid of that apart from literally just breaking it off like that, unfortunately. But once we've done that, we should be able to insert something sharp in here. Oh, actually, what we need to do first, before we do that, we need to take these pins out. So these actually screw down and then they come out quite easily. And there we go. There we go. So there's that bit, and here's inside the barrel. So we have the spring, That's fine. And then, if you can see, I show this a bit closer. Let me get some light over here. I don't know if you can see this, but this is the sprung barrel here, that, or the shaft that goes up and down. And as it goes up, it moves these two little leaf contacts here and here. It moves them this way. It pushes them that way, and they contact the pins that run all the way through the inside of the barrel. So there's holes in here that the pins run through, and this leaf touches and this leaf touches, and that closes the circuit. So what we need to do is clean. I need to remove this. Oh, I need to remove all of this actually. So if I push the shaft out, okay, that's I need to be able to get this little copper contact out. They tend to be quite loose, but this one I can't see very well. This one seems to be stuck over on this side. I might just have to pull it from the leaf contact. Okay. There we go. Okay. So there's that shaft that comes out, and here actually these tweezers are rubbish. They've been abused too much. They don't actually touch at the ends. Oh, I see what's happened. Oh, okay. Ah. So it looks like we have two in here. Looks like for some reason this has got the remains of another leaf contact. That shouldn't be there. Maybe that's why it's behaving weirdly. That is, I don't know where that's come from, but that is completely unnecessary. It just needs this. But you can see it's a bit dull and dirty. So we need to clean the copper basically. That's really all we need to do, and then put it all back together and make sure that these arms are at the right angle so that they make a good contact. Now I'm just going to clean them with some IPA. Sorry, isopropyl alcohol, I should say. I tend to just do it with my fingers, to be honest. And obviously, it's possible with some of these old keyboards that they're so badly corroded that you have to do this to a lot of them. And that was the situation I had with the first. I think it was with the first of these Electrons. It might have been with this one actually. I think there was a total of 12 keys that I needed to fix like this, which is a pain, obviously, because it's finicky. Well, you can't really see this, but there we go. It's finicky, but they did all seem to work remarkably, really. So once I think it's clean, Just want to push the contacts a little bit so that they're about the same. There's this little bend in them, I don't know if you can see that. This little, it's probably not really focusing very well, but there's this little bend that needs to be there. It needs to be a little angle, because it's kind of the knee of that bend that makes contact with the pins. Okay. Let's just clean these other things. Yeah. Looks fairly clean anyway. Okay, this one here, I don't know if you can see this, but it looks like it's just sort of snapped. I'm pretty sure that's not part of the construction. I mean, it might be. It might be that some of them, well, they're supposed to have these two pieces, but I'm not convinced about that. It's a long time since I did them all. The T key that I did last week didn't have another copper piece inside. It's possible that the ones that I did 4 years ago when I first refurbished it did. Just make sure that these pins are nice and clean. Okay, I do find it easiest just to clean them with my fingers. Hands are very good implements for cleaning things, especially when they're small and metal like this. Okay. What you're getting is close-ups of my hands. Okay. Okay, I think we're good. I'm fairly happy with that. I do occasionally, I remember if they're really corroded, I go over them with a little fiberglass pen, but I think those are fine. Right, tricky thing now is putting it all back together. Okay, so how does it go? Okay, sorry, I'm off camera. So it goes like this. That goes in there, and the spring's going to go in there, and then this is going to go down on top of it, and then the pins are going to go in. But once that's in, I need to very carefully drop this in. Which is tricky. You have to do the pin first though. the shaft first. There are two, you can see there's little holes. There's two little lugs inside here. Ah, there we go. There we go. And little holes in the copper that the lugs go on over, and they hold them in place. I think that's good. I think, yeah. I don't want to push this up too hard because the whole contacts will come back out again, but that seems to be good. So, oops. Occasionally it doesn't work first time and I have to take it apart again. Oh, but obviously I test it with a multimeter before soldering it back in. Okay, we do that. So now you see this. Actually, this could do with a bit of a clean. It's okay. So yeah, you see this bit here. That goes down in to hold the bottom of that copper in place, like that, and then we do that, and we may not need to re-glue it, although with this one we might do. It tends to be held in with the pins, you see. So the pins, they have this you see that at the end they have like a knurled bit that screws. At the other end they have these sort of standoffs. So the standoffs go outwards, the knurled bits go in, and then we screw them in with some pliers, and they hold the whole barrel together. Hopefully they only make contact with the copper leaf contacts when we push the key shaft. But there we go. That's it all back together again. Right, let's find out. Let's get the multimeter. Actually, I could do it with that. I'll do it with the tweezers, possibly. Tweezer leads. So now we do not. First of all, do we have continuity? So if I hold it like that, oops, let's put it there. So grip those, that's perfect. Hurrah! Okay, but yeah, as I said, it's slightly destructive. Yeah, this barrel is now only really held in with those pins. It is held in fairly strongly though. I don't really think it needs any glue or anything else. I think in future, you know, chances are it's going to get corroded again. So yeah, someone's going to want to come and open it up, and they can twist the pins out, pull it all apart, put it back together again easily. So I think it's fine. Also, if it any kind of like pulling pressure on here to pull would be applied from with the key cap on, and the key cap would come off. You know, yeah, I think they're fine like this. Anyway, let's solder it back in. Right, I'm going to need my soldering iron for this, which also plugs into my bench, and if it needs more juice than the Electron does. Oh, actually, do you know what? It probably needs more amps. It doesn't need much more juice. There you go. So, yeah, also we should be able to do this without having to take the keyboard chassis actually out. I mean, you can do, it's fairly straightforward to disassemble, to be honest, but no need. No need. There is only one way that this fits in. Let's put it here. So you see that's where the pins are. The pins are kind of at that end. So we should be able to just drop this in. There we go. And then we pop it over. There they are, sticking out. I do just belt and braces. I'm going to put a little bit of blue tack on the key, just to make sure that these are pushing through as far as they can, just in case it those clips don't hold it upside down to the mounting plate. So we get it as flush as possible with the pins pushed through as far as possible. Yeah. So yeah, let's see. Whack some amps into it. Let's put the fan on. There we go. Come on. There you go. Easy peasy. That can cool down over there. Let's just, what did I do with, oh there it is. Let's just clean up. Get this flux. Oh, have I left a bit of a hole? I think I've left a little bit of a hole over this side, but am I going to bother doing something about that? Yeah, okay, come on. I think there's just a little bit of a hole over here. Let's just add a little tiny dab. There we go. Close that off. Stop air getting in and oxidizing the joint or whatever. There we go. pretty good. Let's pop it round. Make sure we don't put the case down on top of the ribbon cable, and then we can just pop the keycap back on. Same for the 8 and 9. You push them in a little bit further, and they go. The shaft goes right inside the keycap. So let's put this back together again, and then we'll test it and see if we can play Chucky Egg using I and P instead of O and P. It's the ultimate test. Put all my gubbins away. We can see if we can. Hello. There we go. Of course, it's very easy to make the keyboard not work at all by messing this part of the process up as well. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. One other thing to remember, and it can't be said enough times, is that you can't, the electrons will not switch on unless they have a keyboard attached. It's important to know when you're testing them, when you've done stuff on the board and you want to check to see if it's working or not. Really, really important that you plug a keyboard in. Yeah, so I'm going to test it before I screw it all back together. But to test it, I'm going to need to turn the amps down on my bench power supply. And to do that, I'm going to need to short it. Because it's not really a proper bench power supply. It's actually, I got it free from a school. The school was getting rid of all of its electronics gear, which I thought was a real shame, and they were basically binning their power supplies, and so I took one. That's not what I want at all, is it? Yeah, I took one. And it's great, it's done, it's been fine, but sophisticated it is not. So in order to actually set the amp cutoff, I need to short across the voltage terminals. You can't see this, but you can see that I have two test leads that are crocodile clipped together, and if I switch this on I can see what the amps are set to. And I think the Electron only needs half an amp. Oh, it depends on what it's plugged into actually, so let's just stick it on 75 or 750 milliamps. There we go. It shouldn't need more than that. Obviously it needs more than just the machine if I have the Go SDC attached to it, but I mean, I imagine that draws virtually nothing. Come on. The other aspect of this, actually, in terms of power, is that the power supply for the Electron is AC. The Electron takes AC, 19 volts AC. Let's just put that to there. and my power supply is DC, but it gets rectified anyway, so it's perfectly fine taking a DC input. Okay, let's plug the video back in. There we go. And the SDC card. Let's turn the TV on. There you go. Right, fingers crossed. Right. Okay. Now, can you see that okay? I hope you can see that. It looks very, very faded. Anyway, moment of truth. I. I think that was perfect. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Perfect. Okay, we have a full working keyboard. And so hopefully I can change keys to Q, Z, I, P, and jump. Perfect. I think this is fine. I'm going to go up and get that one. Yeah, why not? Yeah, bit of a roundabout way. I have a feeling you can barely see this. I'm not quite sure why. There we go. Cool. There we go. That's it. That's how you fix a key barrel on an Acorn Electron. That's one way of doing it. Now, it's possible that it'll, won't last very long, and sticking it in a cupboard for another year will mean that some of these keys won't work anymore because they get too dirty inside. It may mean that just me opening it up and not gluing it all back together again means that it's going to get dirty as well. I don't know. I really don't know. But the best way to make sure that all of these things carry on working is to use them. The more you use keys, the less they're going to get corroded, and etc. etc. And sure, we could have squirted contact cleaner into them and hit them until they're clean again. I have done that, but it often doesn't work, and it doesn't stay working. actually opening it up, and especially the pins. It's the pins almost, you know, as much as the leaf contacts that oxidize and corrode, and you need to clean them off, clean all the old gunk off them, and then they should work pretty well. This certainly does. Sweet. All right, I'm going to leave the stream there. Hope that was useful. I hope it worked. I hope the audio was all right. I'm going to go and check it in a sec. I really hope that the settings that I chose for it have sorted it out, and it's going to be a good streaming platform from now on. So yeah, I'm going to screw the case back together again properly, but I'll do that off stream. All right, cheers everyone.